Okay, welcome back. I'm just going to close a couple of things here. Actually, we won't close anything. Just want to go through a couple of things with you guys. While our user-defined functions are great, they're not very user-friendly. So basically, what I mean by that is that you've got to kind of know what the formula is. You've got to kind of set it so that you know that what variables you're replacing with numbers, so that it does actually put out a value. But where they are good is it allows you to, it makes a shortcut of things. So what we can do, we can say define, and this is more of a math thing, f of x equals 4x plus 1. It'll say done, so it's define that. And I'm going to say define g of x equals 2x minus 1. So I've defined those two. Now what that lets me do is if I go to graph, I don't have to type in the whole equation here. I can just type it in like that. Let's do it again, or do the other one. And that might not be that big a deal, but when you're writing things which have squares and cubes and things like that, it makes it easier. And the other thing it allows you to do, it allows you to kind of to do things with the equations. So now I'm adding both of them, and that's what it ends up looking like. If I add the two equations, f of x plus g of x, that's what it looks like. But anyhow, like I said, that's just a thing you may tend to do more in maths in this subject, but it does have a purpose. So what we're going to do now is we are going to look at something else. So I've clicked on new calculator, and I'm going to say Control and I for insert, and I'm going to do add program editor, and I'm going to do new. We're going to call this quadratic. Don't put any spaces in, it doesn't like spaces, so I'm just calling it quadratic. No, it's already in use. So I'm going to type in quadratic underscore formula. Invalid name, so I can't have an underscore. Okay, so let's call it quadratic formula with a capital F. All right, that works. Okay, so now the quadratic formula is something that you should have had, something you should have learned last year. But if you didn't, that's okay. I'll let it go. Basically, what we want to do is we want to have a formula that defines the x-intercepts of a parabola. So let's say, for example, we go back to our graph page, and let's say we have x x squared minus 2, or we'll make it minus 1. We see our x with our intercepts. What the quadratic formula does, it allows us to find this value and this value here. Okay, let's find that formula. Where is it? Okay, so here it is. So basically what we need to do, now let's find a quadratic formula. Let's Google it, hey? Quadratic formula. Now let's find an image so we can see it. Okay, so this is the quadratic formula. This tells you the values of the x-intercepts. So we've got negative b it's negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, where, if we have a look at this next one, do we actually define, where we have a look at this thing, we write our quadratic in this form. Coefficient of x squared is a, which is that and that. Coefficient of x is b, which is that one and that one. And the constant is c. So that's what we have there. And that's actually the coefficient of x to the power of x to the power of 0, but we won't get into that. Okay, so that's what we want. So what we're going to do, so based on that, so our three variables, we need some variables for this. They are a, b, and c. So what we're going to do is we're going to say disp for display, and put some talking marks in. What are the values of a, b, and c? So that's what we're going to have there. And then we're going to say request. So we're going to say req request, and we're going to do request a with a question mark, and we're going to store that as a, and then we're going to request b with a question mark, and then we're going to store that in b. And we do that by pressing comma. So where we did equals for some things in Python, we use a comma for some things, and we do something else as well for calculations. And then we're going to say request C, and we're going to say with a question mark, and we're going to do comma C for that. Now to run it, what we do, we're just going to have a look at this run now. So it's nowhere near finished, but we should have something that works. So we're going to press Control R to run. Quadratic formula. I'm going to close the bracket. I'm going to press Enter. Now there it is. So here it comes up on screen. What are the values? A, B, and C. So A is 1, B is 0, and C is also 1. And that's what we've got there. So what I've done is I've used the other one that we had, x squared minus 1. Sorry, that should be negative 1. Let's run that again. So to run it again, I'm just going to go up to this, run it again, enter, and I know this is negative 1. So there, it just tells me, it just stores them in values as to what they are. So from there, then what we want to actually do some maths from this. So what we're going to do is, for our calculations, we have a look at our formula. This, we've got negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. So basically, how many values of x are we going to get here? Well, we're going to get 2 because of this plus minus business. So what we'll do, we'll have one value called x1. And for equals, we do colon equals. And we'll say, and we basically put in our formula. Negative b plus the square root b squared minus 4 times a times c. It's really important you put in the times because otherwise it'll consider it a variable called ac or 4ac. And now with that, we've got to divide that by 2a, so 2 times a. So that's what we're going to do for that one there. So that tells us one value. We press enter, and then we can say x2, so this is the second x coordinate, equals, open a bracket, negative b minus the square root of b, and to do squared is this thing here, minus 4 times a times c. We're going to close, we'll close that, and say divided by 2 times a, and we're going to need brackets around these as well. Because BODMAS being what it is, it'll divide by 2 and multiply by a, and we don't want that. So that's what we have there. And now what we need to do, we need to report that. We need to tell the user what it is. So rather than saying, so request is to ask the user what the value is, and disp is to display the values. So disp, we can say, there is an x int at, say, comma x1, and we can say disp, there is another x int at x2. Okay, so let's try to run this. So Control and R to run it. Syntax, oh no, should be negative. Control R. Okay, quadratic formula. Value, let's do 1. Let's try 0, and we'll try negative 1. So we've got an x-intercept at 1 and an x-intercept at negative 1. So that matches up with this one here, where we've got an x-intercept of negative 1 and another x-intercept at 1. So what I'd like for you guys is to program that. So as I did it here, that's what you've got there. What I'd like for you guys to do is to program that and show me that you can actually use it to find some x-intercepts for a quadratic equation. But that's how you write a program using CAS.